Alright, welcome back to our second episode of Real Talk. We have our special guest, Todd Zuckerweiss, in the building this weekend. Last weekend you all met the machine right here. You have Dave Andrews and you also have Ryan Meats. Ryan Meats has since been moved out of the moderator role. Heavy C, aka Chris Powers, will be taking over right now. And what we're going to do is we're going to start off with an open debate. Yeah. As we all know, there was a big trade in the NBA this week. Chris Paul going to the Los Angeles Clippers. Now, there was a bigger trade last week with Chris Paul going to the LA Lakers that we all know didn't go through. So I want to get your opinion on David Stern stepping in, breaking up the first trade, saying he wants more for the Clippers for the second trade. Do we think this is helpful to the league? Is it harmful to the league? You know, you got all these players requesting trades. Is this becoming too much of like a fantasy football draft where you're picking the best team and throwing it out there? Let's go to Dave. Dave, what do you think about
Well,
this?
I'm kind of torn about the situation because I feel a lot of players in the past have fought for free agency. So
right. When
you're becoming a free agent, you deserve the right to, demand where you want to go.
Right.
So Chris Paul saying that he wants out, I kind of understand it. The Hornets aren't going anywhere, and he wants to play for a contender. He doesn't want to play for a team that's losing. But then the whole David Stern stepping in, it's hard because the Hornets are owned by the
league.
And if I recall, the whole big thing about the collective bargaining agreement was that the lower market teams wanted to be able to compete with the bigger market teams because all of the top free agents are going to the bigger market teams.
Right.
So
that's not what we've had.
So they stepped in and were like, basically the whole collective bargaining agreement was supposed to prevent that. So they came to an agreement, but then all of a sudden, the first thing that happens, a smaller market team loses their player to the top market team.
Chris Paul,
so I think it was a good idea.
So we're saying, okay, it was good, big market, LA Clippers getting it. Machine, what's your opinion on this situation?
Basically, Chris Paul could do what the hell he wanted to do. It's America, flat out. But David Stern, at the end of the day, he answers to the owners.
Right.
So they write his check.
Right.
So, and a lot of people like really forget about that. Like, he has to, because basically the owners are looking at him like, you really let this happen right now? Like, and that's the problem.
So now, Todd, I want to get your opinion because as a Knicks fan, I know there was talk about CP3 possibly going to the Knicks. Now, are you heartbroken? Are you upset that he got dealt to the Clippers? What's your feeling on it?
I'm not heartbroken one bit because some people know my feelings on Chris Paul here, that every other year he has a knee injury.
Right.
And personally, I don't think he's worth a max contract.
Right.
Now, getting back to the David Stern thing, he obviously felt pressure from all the small market teams. They do write his check. They bitched him on, am I allowed to say that?
Yeah. No, listen.
They bitched him on about the trade. Dan Gilbert, as you know, wrote that big letter. The reason why Dan Gilbert wrote that because he was burned by LeBron, so he still has some hatred towards that.
Right.
But then that Lakers were giving up a lot. They gave up Gasol, they gave up Odom. The Rockets were giving up Kevin Martin. Right. So the Hornets were getting a lot of talent back. So I think that one argument was Lamar Odom's age, which is BS because he's in what? He might be 30, 31? Somewhere around that. Still a playmaker, everything like that. So I think he overstepped the boundaries. I think that should have went through. And I would have liked Chris Paul to stay in the Hornets because I think they were going to do some type of legal action towards the NBA.
Right, to try to maybe push
I would like to see what would happen with that.
Now, let me go over JV basketball. Big fan of yours. I have a question for you because we've seen how the CP3 plays out.
Right.
What's your feeling on maybe Dwight Howard? Is Dwight Howard going to go through the same situation? Because he's kind of in the same contract situation as CP3 was.
I mean, it's not going to play out the same way, mainly because the Hornets were owned by the NBA,
right?
NBA. So, I mean, he can pretty much dictate where he wants to go. If he's not traded there, he's going to give a list of teams that he wants to go to. I mean, it's looking like possibly the Nets, Lakers are going to play one of those two teams. So I don't think it's going to go. Dallas potentially as well. It's a free agent destination. They may not have the trade assets to acquire him in a trade.
Okay.
But I don't think it's going to play out the same way. In terms of the CP3 deal, I think it's a black eye in the league, just the way David Stern essentially vetoed the deal.
Right.
back to what Todd was saying, the value going to New Orleans was enough for them to be a playoff team. Right now, they're not going to be a playoff team with what they got. They're built better for the future, which I see. They would have been taking a lot of money back on the deal with the Lakers, but it was still a trade that should have went through. I mean, going back to the fantasy aspect of things, I mean, you just kind of see that vetoing these trades, it's just kind of bad for business.
It's gonna be bad. Meads, we got your opinion on Dwight Howard. What I know, Will, you wanted to touch a little bit more on CP3.
First of all, the fact that this clown's talking basketball, yo, that's the first problem we have here at the table right now.
What?
Because first of all, Chris Paul is flat out a max player. Who the fuck is he? Oh, Amari Stoudemire? Wait, is he a max player?
Amari Stoudemire.
Is he? Oh,
you're going to talk the injury of Amari Stoudemire. Amari Stoudemire had microfracture surgery.
Micro what?
Microfracture. Oh, okay. That's what I said. Surgery. He had it, what, 5 years ago?
Okay.
Okay. Hasn't had an issue since.
Okay.
Chris Paul every other year.
Alright, I'm asking you a question.
Every other year.
You know what I saw on ESPN the other day?
What?
Oh, I gotta sit on a couple games. I gotta sit on a couple games. He's 20 years old.
They want to do that.
Yeah, listen, he's not no veteran. He's not Kevin Garnett.
He has no knee injury.
Okay, he has no. So why is he gonna sit on a couple games?
Because it's going to refresh his body. He's a power forward, plays more demanding position.
Okay.
But is there an issue with sitting out in a shortened season?
No, it's not an issue. The game is important. Amare will be that dude.
Yeah, Amari will be that dude.
We'll talk to D'Antoni about it.
Did you see his glasses in the preseason
I did
game?
see the glasses. He's not
He knows his shit.
First of all,
he knows his style. And a big game, a big game, he'll do his thing.
And that's the first problem. He's worried about looking good. He need to worry about playing good. Because you know what? Last I checked, listen. Last I checked in the playoffs,
His dad was there.
He did have back spasms. Okay, because he was trying to do a pregame dunk. He hurt his back. All right, but he's never missed a full season every other year like Chris Paul.
Okay.
What did New Orleans do last season?
What do you mean? What New Orleans?
What did Chris Paul do when he came to MSG that one game? Nothing.
What are you talking about? Yeah, look at his roster. Marco Bellinelli. Come on, what are you talking about? David West was out.
Did you see the Knicks roster last year? Amari carried the team.
Oh my God! Yeah.
So
see that?
Who
was the MVP?
So pretty much, your opinion is based off of one game at MSG. Your opinion is off of
Overall.
No, my opinion, every other year Chris Paul has an injury.
Fair enough.